Warning, the following video contains scenes of graphic violence that may be too intense for some audiences. And I'm talking like really graphic. Like super graphic. It's kind of f***ed up even. Wait a minute, isn't this a review of a DC animated film? That doesn't seem right. The following video also contains clips taken from the DC animated film Son of Batman, which is the property of Warner Brothers. However, because I am in no way attempting to claim ownership or reproduce the original product, and all these clips are being used for the sake of this review and for the purpose of comedy, they fall fully under the category of fair use. In other words, Warner Brothers, don't even think about coming in here and trying to take all of my money from this review. Who am I kidding? You're gonna come in here and take the money anyways, aren't you? I hate YouTube sometimes. Hello everyone, it's me, Aaron, Professor Thorgi, your guide to all things geeky, and we are currently still in the middle of Superhero Month here on the Thorgi Review Show. Yes, that's right, in honor of Civil War coming out at the beginning of this month, and X-Men Apocalypse coming out at the end, every single week here on the Thorgi Review Show, we're going to be reviewing something from the world of superheroes. Now, if you're a fan of the Thorgi Review Show, then A, thank you, and B, that means that you know that I wasn't the biggest fan of DC's latest, let's call it movie, Batman v Superman. I had some words for it. I can't just sit here and pretend like everything's okay. I can't pretend like this movie didn't horrifically affect me in numerous ways. But I don't want anybody thinking that I'm just being harsh on DC. You see, their movies, yeah, they might be lacking at the moment, but there's still something that they do better and have historically done better than anybody else out there. And I'm of course speaking about their animation department. Whether it's their made-for-TV cartoons or their straight-to-DVD animated movies, those are all excellent examples of what DC does right. Movies like Under the Red Hood and The Flashpoint Paradox are some of the best examples of animated superhero films. However, I hate saying this, I have fallen a bit behind on their animated films simply because they come out straight to DVD, and those DVDs can be expensive. So I tend to wait for them to come out on Netflix, and recently, Netflix did add a brand new animated film from DC, Son of Batman. I've been hearing a lot about this. I didn't stop to hear whether it was good or bad, but I'm assuming it's good. It's a DC animated film, and I need to remind myself of what DC does right. So today, I'm going to review Son of Batman. This movie starts off with Damian and his mother Talia and his grandfather Ra's al Ghul training with the League of Assassins, when suddenly they're attacked by Deathstroke. Ra's al Ghul is attacked and appears dead, and it's up to Damian to fight off Deathstroke, who is, oh my god! Damn! Did Damian just stab out Deathstroke's eye 2 minutes into this thing? Jeez, DC, listen, I understand, it's the League of Assassins, they're a bunch of skilled murderers, but a little subtlety goes a long way. I mean, if you want to make them seem really threatening, I don't know, maybe a little bit more Psycho and a little less Saw. Okay, I can deal with this, Listen, I'm just being stuck up. That's all it is. I'm just being stuck up. Damian is an assassin when his story begins. And that's shocking, and that's what they wanted to do here. They wanted to shock you. They wanted to set the tone right off the bat and hit the ground running so that you would know exactly what kind of a story this was going to be. And they did indeed do that by showing in graphic detail a dude's eyeball getting poked out. But nevertheless, mission accomplished. And that's totally fine. I now know that this is going to contain some very graphic violence in that, and you know what? Sometimes that's okay. There are many movies and TV shows out there that are perfect examples of how you can use graphic violence to properly set the tone for that series. Just so long as you don't get lazy with it and think that that is a substitute for all the legwork that has to go into the story to set up these characters so that you actually care about this violence. Why is the camera still holding on me? Typically after I say something like that, it cuts. It only holds on me if I'm going to be proven wrong. Why is it still filming me? Oh, thank God we've moved on to the next scene. Whew! Okay, here we see Talia coming to Batman, and she's going to tell him about the loss of her father and the existence of their child. Now, these two have always had a very complex relationship, and when you tell it correctly, it's one of the most fascinating and engaging love stories in comics.
Would you like a drink?
Last time that didn't go so well.
Oh, you're right. If I remember correctly, I put a little something in your beverage.
Same way I remember it.
It made you romantic.
It made me do what you wanted.
I'm sorry, wow, I totally misheard what they just said. Oh man, I don't even want to say what I thought they just said because it's so embarrassing. Okay, you guys are gonna laugh, but, to me it sounded like they just said that Talia raped Batman. No way did they just say that, because that'd be awful. Oh my god, can you imagine? Oh my god, I feel so silly for thinking that that's what they said. Can we just rewind to hear what they actually said?
If I remember correctly, I put a little something in your beverage.
Same way I remember it.
It made you romantic.
It made me do what you wanted.
Oh my god, they raped Batman. No, stop. I'm overreacting. I'm misinterpreting this or something. They didn't say that. No, they just said that Talia put something in his drink that made him incapable of saying no when she forced him to have sex with her. DC, what the Okay, so the Bruce and Talia relationship in here is pretty much sunk. So let's just go ahead and skip over that, because I don't really want to think about it any longer, but also because Bruce is about to meet Damian. This is a huge moment. He's about to learn that he has a son, a man whose entire life has been crafted around the loss of his family, is about to learn that he has one of his own. There's going to be so much ground to cover here, so much that needs to be talked about, and 2 minutes later. That was it? Well, looks like the only bomb that Batman knows how to get rid of is a drama bomb. Shout out to everyone who's over 50 in my audience, because I bet you got a real big kick out of that joke. Okay, so far this movie has sacrificed characters and drama for shock value, but that doesn't matter. What's important is that we finally have Damian Wayne. We finally have one of the most popular characters in recent DC Comics up there on the screen. People have been begging to see this character adapted into a movie, TV show, video game, into some kind of a medium, and we finally have it. We finally have Damian here in all of his sly, witty, clever glory.
Don't look so stunned, Father. I thought you'd be taller.
Huh. You know, it's odd. That's actually a pretty accurate representation of Damian, but I still don't feel good about it. I don't know why. I'm not getting the same desired effect that I get from the comics. I mean, Damian is a character who's practically perfect. And a lot of his humor comes from the fact that he knows that. He knows he's one of the world's most skilled fighters and hackers all at the age of 10. And he doesn't care. He is glad to walk around like he is the world's biggest badass. But when you read that in the comics, you can morph it. You can manipulate it in your own mind when you read those words, so that it gives you the desired effect. However, when you hear an actual child, no matter how good the actor is, when you hear an actual 10-year-old saying things like this,
I thought you'd be taller.
It's really hard to not want to yell, "Go to your room!" Okay, this isn't going well. So let's go ahead and speed up the plot here, because it's making me sad, and I'm beginning to doubt that this really is the great DC animated film that I was hoping it would be. Deathstroke tries to take over the League of Assassins. Not something Deathstroke would ever do, but honestly, this guy is Deathstroke in name and mask only, so who cares? He decides to take over the League of Assassins and turn all their members into man-bats. Because what's better than an assassin? A bat assassin! A bat-assassin, if you will. Although, if the League of Assassins is the greatest group of assassins on the planet, why do you need to up the stakes by turning them into bat people? I mean, the only person on the planet who was able to beat them was, well, you. And now you're leading them. So, couldn't you just train them to make them even better? In fact, turning them into bat people seems counterintuitive. It seems that it would actually make them less disciplined and skilled, because they would be exchanging that for animalistic savagery. I'm sorry, I've just been informed that they are now bat people, because that is, quote, awesome, and I need to shut my dumb face. I can't really dispute that, and you have a valid point, so let's move on. Now, all throughout this movie, Damian has been talking about revenge, about how he's going to track down whoever it was that took his grandfather from him and mess with the League of Assassins, and he's going to murder him. But Batman, despite what many big-budget Hollywood films would have you think, is actually opposed to murder. So he decides he's going to show Damian a better way. So he takes him under his wing to make him the new Robin. Together, the two of them have to find Talia, who was kidnapped by Deathstroke. But where could he be? Well, as it turns out, Killer Croc is actually taking the same mutating drugs that his Bat Assassins use, and he's going through withdrawal. So now we're gonna get to see Batman's famous interrogation techniques. That style of interrogation where he uses fear and psychological operation to break down his opponent until he gets them to give him exactly what he— Oh my god! Ugh. Oh dear god. Did you just have him rip Croc's tail off? Oh god, it's hideous! DC, what the f*** is wrong with you? That's not world's greatest detective style interrogation. That's Punisher style interrogation. Listen, I'm not gonna pretend like Batman can't be kind of brutal with his enemies, but he's typically brutal involving fear. You know the thing Batman is known for? Yeah, he'll hang someone over the side of a building or make it look like he's going to do something terrible to him, but we as the audience know he never would. We know that this is him being smart. We know that this is him using fear against his opponent who doesn't realize that he isn't crazy, who doesn't realize that he won't go over the edge. And that's one of the reasons why we love Batman, is because he's the world's greatest detective, not just in the way that he puts clues together, but also in the way that he can psychologically analyze and break down anyone he's going up against, so that way he can get the answers he needs out of them. However, if he gets the answers out of them by just flat out torturing them, that's not world's greatest detective. It's kind of mentally disturbing and lazy. It would be like if he went up against the Riddler and got the answer to all his questions by waterboarding him. Ugh, jeez, guys, I don't know how much more I can take of this film. Let's just skip ahead to the climax. Alright, now Damian has discovered that— Oh god. I'm sorry, I just thought about Croc's tail again. Oh god, it's so disgusting. Okay, I'm good. Let's continue. Alright, now as I said, Batman made Damian Robin because he wanted to teach him that murder is not justice. However, Damian keeps saying that blood demands blood. That is what he has been taught since he was a child. So Batman realizes it's going to be a long, hard process to unteach him that, to make him see a better way. I hope he was able to get all that in within 10 minutes, because that's how long Damian is Robin before he decides, screw you old man, and then runs off on his own to kill Deathstroke. I'm sure Batman was able to give him all the important life lessons he needed in that time. It's more time than Jason Todd got. I feel bad about that joke. So Damian then swims to Deathstroke's secret headquarters in the middle of the ocean, where he witnesses Deathstroke kill his own mother, which sends him into a blind fury. He then goes head to head with Deathstroke, and I gotta admit, that fight scene actually is pretty darn cool. I gotta give him that. That fight scene actually is pretty cool. And gory. Really, really gory. In fact, it's like 30% cool, 70% f***ed up. You know, it's weird, I should feel disturbed by seeing a 10-year-old rip his arms out through two swords, but after everything else I've seen in this movie, I'm kind of desensitized at this point. I'm not disturbed, I'm not grossed out, I'm not upset. All I can really do is just sit here and go, meh, and then wonder how someone can keep fighting when all the muscles in both their arms have been ripped to shreds. And so, after this long climactic battle, Damian has Deathstroke right where he wants him. He's defeated, broken, beaten. He is ready to kill him to avenge his grandfather and mother. Damian raises the sword and—
No, I'm my father's son too. I'm Robin.
You've got to be f***ing me. Listen, it's not that I disagree with Batman. I don't. It is wrong to go around murdering villains in the street in cold blood, which should not be a controversial statement. However, Damian was raised by the League of Assassins. He had 10 years of blood demands blood, slay your enemies down with no mercy being drilled into his skull. Then he meets his dad, gets to know him for maybe a week's top, and his dad tells him once, no, that's wrong. Damian blows it completely off and leaves, and yet still, here, at the pivotal moment for his character, that was enough to make him do a 180? There is no reason for him to make this turn, although, in all fairness to the writers, DC wasn't willing to pay for a full 90 minutes to this movie, so when did they exactly have time to put that character development in? Seriously, DC? 74 minutes including credits? That's not an animated film. That is a 3-part TV series with commercials put in. And you know what drives me insane about this? It's that we're supposed to look at Damian like he's gone through this big journey, like he really has become a hero, like he has become a better person. However, as the base, the underwater base, is collapsing on them, Damian then makes the conscious choice to leave the unconscious Deathstroke there for the base and the entire ocean to fall upon him, thereby killing him. What? I'm sorry, I don't care how cool that moment was in Batman Begins. The I'm not going to kill you, but I don't have to save you either thing doesn't exactly work, especially if the person is unconscious. If you have the ability to save someone who is unconscious, knowing they will die if you don't do it, and then you choose, yeah, I'm not gonna do that, that's not that far off from actually killing them yourself. And yet, we're supposed to look at Damian like, oh, he decided to let him drown rather than stabbing him himself. Way to go, kid! So yes, in the end, this film is loaded with shock value, all at the expense of character and story. It's the cinematic equivalent of a YouTube jump scare video. So that's why I have to give it my score of 1 bat assassin being eaten by a shark. I can't think of one scene that sums up the problems with this movie more than the scene when a bat assassin is tossed out into the ocean and he is instantly eaten by a shark. Why is it important? It's not. Do I care about this bat assassin? Nope. Is there a reason for there to be a shark in this scene or a reason why he needs to eat him? None at all. It's just a gruesome image without any character, setup, or entertainment to really make it effective. And that's kind of what this entire movie is, and sadly, it's kind of what DC's animated films are becoming. DC's animated properties used to be king, not just of superhero cartoons, but of anything on television, live action or anime. And do you know why? Because they were loaded with characters, drama, comedy, witty dialogue, heart, and great stories. And this isn't just me coming in as some old fuddy-duddy saying, back in my day things were better, because it's not just back in my day, they were killing it just a few years ago. Under the Red Hood and Flashpoint Paradox had great stories and amazing characters and crafted tales that were loaded with tension and drama and twists and turns. And heck, Under the Red Hood was loaded with shocking scenes and graphic moments, but it knew how to set them up and where to place them and how to use them to make them truly effective. It knew how to make moments like this add to the story, not to be substitutes for the story. But after Flashpoint, we've started to see DC sacrificing heart for shock value, believing that just because it contains adult content, that means it's mature. And yes, their last 2 animated films have been better, but they're still so dedicated to being cool that it's almost like they're ashamed that they're making superhero movies. Now, I will admit I have not yet seen the new animated Justice League vs. Teen Titans cartoon. I want to, and I have high hopes for it, even though I have heard some mixed reviews, but I do have high hopes for it, because it does look like it's trying to lean into the idea of fun. Although, DC, when you follow that up immediately by bragging about the fact that you're going to have a hard R-rated Batman animated film, I just have to ask, DC, are you okay? Is everything alright? Did something happen at school? Did those mean boys knock the books out of your hand again or shove you into the locker? Did your girlfriend break up with you because she thought you were a nerd? Did you get kicked off the football team? I just have to ask, DC, because clearly something happened to you that makes you afraid to admit that superheroes are fun. And I don't want you to think that I'm just being mean to DC. I'm there for you, DC. I am. You know why? Because you were there for me. When I was a kid and I needed something to lift me up, you were there for me. Your comics, your movies, and especially your cartoons, they were all there for me. So I want to be there for you. If you need some help, you need someone to talk to, you need a shoulder to cry on, you need a couch to crash on until you get your life figured out, I'm there for you, DC. But I'm not gonna watch this movie again. But alright, that's it for me, everyone. Thanks for watching another episode of Thorgi Reviews. Remember, we do reviews of anything geeky on this channel every single week, and you can leave suggestions and requests down in the comments below. Remember, it is still superhero month on this channel, so any superhero property that you want me to review, leave that in the comments down below. Also, if you want to see my previous reviews, you can click on them at the end of this video, and make sure to follow me on Twitter and Tumblr. I also take requests through there. And if you like this video, make sure to share it all around the web. It is the best way to help out this channel. You guys have been doing that a lot lately, and I really appreciate it. So thank you all so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!